Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा निशा।
हरे कृष्णा।
कृष्णा आज कोई आया नहीं है और आई थिंक प्रेम वगैरह तो इंडिया जाने का भी था इनका। अजय का भी इंडिया जाने का है। आई थिंक कुछ ना कुछ सबका। मैसेजेस ठीक है, शुरू करते हैं अपन। कैसे चल रहा सब निशा?
बिल्कुल ठीक, सब
ठीक है सब। थैंक्स गिविंग
हाँ अच्छा था। पिंकी के यहाँ गए थे हम लोग
या
सब।
पिंकी के यहाँ पे था क्या? अच्छा, सब लोग गुड। कैसा है अभी अरुण को? कैसे है
हाँ
अरुण का? ठीक है सब।
अरुण ठीक है, हाँ इज कम्प्लीटली फाइन, एकदम नॉर्मल
नाइस।
रूटीन शुरू है। हाँ इज फाइन।
अच्छा
हाँ
cool, cool. हाँ नहीं बढ़िया हो गया। 6 साल निकल गया एक्चुअली, ऑलमोस्ट ईयर ना।
साल, हाँ जिया जी का भी
में
ना, इनके जिया
हाँ
जी, इनका भी 1
हाँ।
साल हो जाएगा दिसंबर।
ओ इज इट? ओ या
वो अरुण का
मैं हो गया।
अक्टूबर नवंबर में हुआ और जिया जी का 1 महीने बाद ही हुआ।
करेक्ट करेक्ट। जीजा जी का यहीं हुआ था ना, यूएस में ही हुआ
न्यू
था।
जर्सी में, हाँ यही हुआ
हाँ हाँ।
था।
चलो गुड, सो दे ऑल गुड राइट, बैक टू
ऑल
नॉर्मल।
गुड ऑल गुड, हाँ
दैट्स सो नाइस यार, इट्स अ बिग सर्जरी राइट, सो होने के
हाँ।
बाद
यार जिया जी के भी ट्रिपल हुआ बाईपास।
वाह।
हाँ
वो अच्छा ऐसे भी होता है सिंगल ट्रिपल।
हाँ, कितने ब्लॉकेज है उस पे रहता है
हाँ,
ना।
और अरुण का क्या था?
अरुण का तो उससे ज्यादा था। आई
ओ माय गॉड।
थिंक। हाँ हाँ
वाह।
यस।
लेकिन चलो अच्छा है, तो गुड नाउ दे आर न्यू
हाँ
हार्ट।
दोनों ही, जिया जी भी ठीक है, अभी इंडिया गए हुए हैं तो he's
अच्छा,
fine.
या इट्स अ न्यू हार्ट नाउ, नॉट
हाँ
ब्रोकन।
न्यू हाँ।
या
या
सो नाइस। चलो गुड, अच्छा है। चल
हम्म।
शुरू करते हैं।
ठीक है।
तो हम लोग 21 श्लोक पे हैं और चित्रकेतु के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं, किंग चित्रकेतु। सो जैसा कि पिछले अध्याय में हम लोग देख रहे थे, वी वर रीडिंग अबाउट वृतासुर, एंड एज वी सो वृतासुर went back to godhead because even though he was a demon, he was all kind of a devotee. Yeah, Hare Krishna Tarun.
Hare Krishna Vijan, Hare Krishna everyone.
हरे कृष्णा।
So as we see, Vritasur was a devotee and he went back to godhead. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukdev Goswami ji, how can like demon like Vritasur could go back to godhead, whereas it's like one in hundreds of millions of person who get this chance, right? It's not easy. So then Sukdev Goswami ji is reciting the story of Citraketu, right? So that's what we are reading right now. Yesterday हम लोग पढ़ रहे थे कि O King Citraketu, I can observe that your mind is not pleased. You seem not to have achieved your desired goal. Is this because of you yourself or has it been caused by others? Your pale face reflects your deep anxiety. तो ये कौन बोल रहा है?
अंगीरा ऋषि।
Angira Muni, right? So King Chitraketu is, we know, like he was ruling the whole earth. He had millions of wives, as we read, right? But he did not have a son. And then Angira Muni reached to his palace, and then he gave him some messages in terms of a good king. How can a king be happy? And then he's telling him ki Tvam Chintaya Shabla Mukham, ki on your face I am seeing some anxiety. And what is that about? So that's what Angira Muni is asking Citraketu. Yeah, King Citraketu. So we'll read from here, Anisha.
एवं विकल्पितो राजन् विदुषा मुनिनापि सह प्रशयावनतो अभ्याः प्रजाकामस्ततो मुनिन्. Sukdev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, although the great sage Angira knew everything, he inquired from the king in this way. Thus King Citraketu, desiring a son, went low in great humility and spoke to the great sage as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Angira Muni knew everything, of course, but he still asked Citraketu, King Citraketu, what is the issue, right? Says, yeah, since the face is the index to the mind, a saintly person can study the condition of one's mind by seeing his face. When Angira Rishi remarked about the king's discolored face, King Citraketu explained the cause of his anxiety as follows. Tarun?
Citraketu vacha Bhagwan kim na viditam tapo dhyanas samadhibhi yoginam thrasta papanam bahir anta sarisrisu. King Citraketu said, O great Lord Angira, because of austerity, knowledge and transcendental samadhi, you are freed from all the reactions of sinful life. Therefore, as a perfect yogi, you can understand everything external and internal regarding embodied, conditioned souls like us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so
Hare Krishna
Citraketu.
Ajay.
Hare Krishna Ajay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sorry, sir, late ho gaya.
Okay. And so Citraketu, King Citraketu is speaking to Angira Muni. Yeah. So he's telling Angira Muni that he is Viditam in Tapo Gyan Samadhi. Yeah. Angira Muni is a great Rishi. Yeah. His austerity, his knowledge and transcendental Samadhi, right? Based on all that, he is Dhvasta Papana. He is freed from all reactions of sinful life. And being a perfect yogi, he can understand everything, like in terms of what's going on within conditioned souls like us, is what King Citraketu is telling Angira Muni. Yeah. Ajay?
Tathapi prachato bruyam brahmana natmanini chintitam bhavto vidvashvapi chodit swad dunugya. O great soul, you are aware of everything, yet you are asking me why I'm full of anxiety. Therefore, in response to your order, let me disclose the cause. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so as we know, King Citraketu had everything, right? He was the ruler of the earth. And we are reading the answer to Parikshit Maharaj's question to Sukdev Goswami ji. Like, how come Vritasur, even though being a demon, went back to Godhead? So Sukdev Goswami ji is reciting the story of King Citraketu. Because in the previous births, the story is related to King Citraketu. Yeah. So King Citraketu is telling Angira Muni that you know everything, but still you are asking the reason for my anxiety. So he is going to tell. Yeah. Lokpalerapi pratyar samrajye iswarya sampadha na nandiyante prajamma kshitat kama vimyapare. As a person aggrieved by hunger and thirst is not pleased by external gratification of flower garlands or sandalwood pulp, I am not pleased with my empire, opulence or positions, which are desirable even for great demigods, because I have no son. Yeah. So King Citraketu has everything. He has the empire, opulence, and positions, but he is still not happy. Yeah, because he has no son. Is what Citraketu Maharaj is telling Angira Muni. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Sachin.
Hare Krishna. Tatah pahi mahabhag purveha sahagatam tamah yatha tarem dushparam prajaya tadhi dehi nah. Therefore, O great sage, please save me and my forefathers who are descending to the darkness of hell because I have no progeny. Kindly do something so that I have a son to deliver us from hellish conditions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So why King Citraketu is saying this is because for Pitradevs and all that, there's a son who does all this rituals. And so he's saying that please, and then also he's a king, so he needs a son to continue the kingdom. So he's asking for a son to Angira Muni. Yeah. Nisha?
Sri Shuka Uvacha Ityartitah sa Bhagavan Krupalur Sutah Shrapayitva Charum Tvashtram Tvashtarmayajad Vibhuha. In response to the request of Maharaj Citraketu, Angira Rishi, who was born of Lord Brahma's mind, was very merciful toward him. Because the sage was a greatly powerful personality, he performed a sacrifice by offering oblations of sweet rice to us. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So as you can see, Angira Rishi was born from Lord Brahma's mind. Yeah. That's why Angira Rishi is the Brahma Rishi. Yeah. So there are certain Brahma Rishis, and Angira Rishi is one of them. And because King Citraketu was asking for a son, Angira Rishi performed the sacrifice to Tvashta. Right? We already read about Tvashta Dev. Right? If you remember, it is Tvashta who performed the yajna where the Vritasura appeared, right? Vritasura is also known as Indrashatru. And why did Tvashta did that yajna for Indrashatru? Remember? Why did Tvashta did yajna? So that his goal was to take revenge from Indradev. Remember why was that? So if you remember, all the Devatas, right, made Vishwarup as his guru, right? Rishi Vishwarup. And then Rishi Vishwarup's father was Tvashta, right? But the mother was from demon side. And so Rishi Vishwarup, when he was doing the yajna for Devatas, because Indradev was getting defeated by the demons, because Brihspati Maharaj, who is the real guru of Devatas, had left the Devatas. So they chosen Vishwarup, Rishi Vishwarup as their guru. But Rishi Vishwarup, when he was doing the yajna, he was also giving the sacrifice for demons. And Indradev realized that and he took off his head, right? So because Rishi Vishwarup was killed by Indradev and son of Tvashta was performing yajna where he wanted to take revenge from Indradev. And he could not pronounce the mantra properly. He was taking a pause. So due to that, a demon appeared. He was Vritasura. Yeah. So Vritasura was also Tvashta's son in that regard, because Tvashta's yajna, Vritasura appeared. And then in last adhyaya, as we read the fight between Vritasura and Indradev, right? And then we saw that Vritasura was also a devotee. He gave so much transcendental message to Indradev, right? Because Indradev created a vraj which was made out of Dadichi Muni's bones. Yeah, Vishwakarma created the vraj using Dadichi Muni, who had the Narayan Kavach, that's bones, as advised by Lord Vishnu himself to Indradev. Yeah. So Vritasura knew that he will be killed because it's about Lord Vishnu's advice, but then he still fought with Indradev and he told him like he is going to go back to Godhead, which is much more better than even ruling the heaven. Yeah. So, but then because Vritasura went to Godhead, went back to Lord Shri Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukdev Goswamiji, why did Vritasura, who is a demon, went to Lord Krishna, whereas only one in hundreds of millions goes back, right? So that is the answer which Sukdev Goswami is giving to Parikshit Maharaj. So in that regard, he's telling the story of Citraketu Maharaj. So Citraketu Maharaj did not have a son. So Angira Muni is asking Angira Muni to have him a son. And so Angira Muni performs a sacrifice by offering oblation of sweetness to Tvashta. Right? So Tvashta, he does that yagya and he gets a son. Yeah? Tarun?
ज्येष्ठ श्रेष्ठ च य राज्ञो महिष्ण च भारत नाम्ना क्रद्ययुक्तिस्तस्यै यज्ञोचितं अदत् द्विजः. O Parikshit Maharaj, best of the Bharatas, the remnants of the food offered in the yajna were given by the great sage Angira to the first and most perfect among Citraketu's millions of queens, whose name was Kradyayuti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Kritadhuti. So Kritadhuti was the eldest queen of Citraketu Maharaj. Ajay?
अथाह नृपतम राजन भक्ति तैकस्व वात्मजः हर्ष शोक प्रदुम्यमिति ब्रह्मा सुतो ययो. Thereafter the great sage told the king, O great king, now you will have a son who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation. The sage then left without waiting for Citraketu's response. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so King Citraketu wanted a son. Angira Muni did the sacrifice to Tvashta Dev and he told him and he gave the remnants to Kritadhuti, the eldest wife of Citraketu. And then he told him that you will have a son who will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation. Yeah, Harsh Shok. So both Harsh Shok Pradastyubhiti. Yeah, and then he left. Yeah, then Angira Muni left. Sachin?
सापि तत् प्राशनादेव चित्रकेतु रधारयत् गर्भं कृतद्युतिर्देवी कृत्तिकाग्ने रिवात्मजम्. As Kritika Devi, after receiving the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni, conceived a child named Skanda or Kartikeya, Krityadyuti, having received semen from Citraketu, became pregnant after eating remnants of food from Yagya performed by Angira. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Rinaji.
Hare Krishna, Bhaiya. Hare Krishna, everyone.
पढ़ेंगे
तस्या अनुदिनं गर्भः शुक्लपक्ष इवोडुपः विवृधे शूरसेनेश तेजसा शनकरनृप. After receiving semen from Maharaj Citraketu, the king of Surasen, Queen Kritadyuti gradually developed in her pregnancy, O King Parikshit, just as the moon develops during the bright fortnight. Hare Krishna.
अथ काल उपावृते कुमारः संजायत जनयन् शूरसेनानां शृण्वितां परमां मुदम्. Thereafter, in due course of time, a son was born to the king. Hearing news of this, all the inhabitants of the state of Surshen were extremely pleased. Nisha?
भ्रष्टो राजा कुमारस्य स्नातः शुचिरलङ्कृतः वाचयित्वा शिशो विप्रेह कारयामास जातकम्. King Citraketu was specially pleased. After purifying himself by bathing and by decorating himself with ornaments, he engaged learned Brahmins in offering benedictions to the child and performing the birth ceremony. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Varun?
Tebhyo hiranyam rajatam vasamye abhranarani cha graman hayan kajan pradaddat dhenunam abhyudani sat. Unto the Brahmanas who took part in the ritualistic ceremony, the king gave charity of gold, silver, garments, ornaments, villages, horses, and elephants, as well as 60 crores of cows, 600 million cows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ajay?
Vavarsh kamanyesha parjanya iv dehinam dhanyam yashasya mayushyam kumarasya mahamana. As a cloud indiscriminately pours water on the earth, the beneficent king Citraketu to increase the reputation, opulence, and longevity of his son distributed like rainfall all desirable things to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Sachin?
कुछ लब्धेथ राजर्षे स्तनेय अनुदिनं पितुः यथा निःस्वस्य कृच्छ्राप्ते धने स्नेहोऽन्वर्धत. When a poor man gets some money after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. Similarly, when King Citraketu, after great difficulty, received a son, his affection for the son increased day after day. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so his affection for the son kept increasing day after day. Tinaji?
मातुस्त्वतितरां पुत्रे स्नेहो मोह समुद्भवः कृतद्युते सपत्नीनां प्रजाकामज्वरो अभवत्. The mother's attraction and attention to the son, like that of the child's father, excessively increased. The other wives, seeing Kritadyuti's son, were very much agitated, as if by high fevers with a desire to have sons. Hare Krishna.
So other wives were not very happy. Yeah. Citraketu rati priti yatha dare prajavati na tanyayeshu sajjagye balam lalyato anvaham. As King Citraketu fostered his son very carefully, his affection for Queen Kritadyuti increased, but gradually he lost affection for the other wives who had no sons. Nisha?
ताः पर्यतप्यन्नात्मानं गर्हयन्तो अभ्युसूया आनपतेन दुःखेन राज्ञश्चानादरेण च. The other queens were extremely unhappy due to their being sonless. Because of king's negligence toward them, they condemned themselves in envy and lamented. Hare Krishna.
Tarun?
Dig aprajam striyam papam patyus chagraha samhatam suprajabhi sapatnibhir dasim iva tiraksritam. A wife who has no sons is neglected at home by her husband and dishonored by her co-wives exactly like a maid servant. Certainly, such a woman is condemned in every respect because of her sinful life. Hare Krishna.
Ajay?
दासीनां को नु संतापः स्वामिनः परिचर्या अभीक्षणं लब्धामानानां दास्या दासीव दुर्भगा. Even maid servants who were constantly engaged in rendering service to the husbands are honored by the husband, and thus they have nothing for which to lament. Our position, however, is that we are maidservants of the maidservant. Therefore, we are most unfortunate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Sachin?
एवं सन्धह्युमानानां सपत्न्याः पुत्र संपदा राज्ञो असम्मतवृत्तिनां विद्वेषो बलवान भूत. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued, being neglected by their husband and seeing Krityadyuti's opulence in possessing a son, Krityadyuti's co-wives always burned in envy, which became extremely strong. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the other co-wives became very, very unhappy. Yeah, Rinaji?
विद्वेष नष्टमतयः स्त्रियो दारुणचेतसः गरं ददुः कुमाराय दुर्मूर्षा नृपतिं प्रति. As their envy increased, they lost their intelligence. Being extremely hard-hearted and unable to tolerate the king's neglect, they finally administered poison to the son. Hare Krishna.
Krityadyutiर्जानन्ति स पत्नी नामगं महत् सुप्त एवेति सच्चिन्त्य निरीक्ष्य व्यचर्दृहे. Unaware of the unaware of the poison administered by her co-wives, Queen Krityadyuti walked within the house, thinking that her son was sleeping deeply. She did not understand that he was dead. Nisha?
शयानं सुचिरं बालमुपधार्य मनीषिणी पुत्रमानय मे भद्रे इति धात्री मचोदयत्. Thinking that her child had been sleeping for a long time, Queen Krityadyuti, who was certainly very intelligent, ordered the nurse, "My dear friend, please bring my son here." Hare Krishna.
Tarun?
सा शयनम् उपवृज्य दृष्ट्वा चतुर्लोकनां प्राणेन ध्रियतात्माभिस्त्यक्तं हतस्मीति अपतत् bhuvi. When the maid servant approached the child, who was lying down, she saw that his eyes were turned upward. There were no signs of life, all his senses having stopped, and she could understand that the child was dead. Seeing this, she immediately cried, "Now I am doomed," and fell to the ground. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
तस्यास्त दाकर्ण्य भृशान्तुरं स्वरं घनन्त्या कराभ्यामुर उच्चकैरपि प्रविश्य राज्ञी जमान्तिकः ददर्श बालं सहसा मितं सुतम्. In great agitation, the maidservant struck her breast with both hands and cried loudly in regretful words. Hearing her loud voice, the queen immediately came, and when she approached her son, she saw that he was suddenly dead. Hare Krishna.
Sachin?
पात भूमोः परिवृद्धया शुचा मुमोः विभ्रष्ट शिरो रुहाम्बरा. In great lamentation, her hair and dress in disarray, the queen fell to the ground unconscious. Hare Krishna.
Rinaji?
ततो नृपान्तः पूर्ववर्तिनो जना नराश्च नार्यश्च निशम्य रोदनम् आगत्य तुल्य व्यसनाः सुदुःखिताः स्ताश्च व्यलीकं रुरुदुः कृतागसः. O King Parikshit, hearing the loud crying, all the inhabitants of the palace came, both men and women. Being equally aggrieved, they also began to cry. The queens, who had administered the poison, also cried pretentiously, knowing full well their offense. Hare Krishna.
कृतामृतं पुत्रमलक्षितान्तकं विनष्टदृष्टिः प्रपतनिष्कलं पथि स्नेहानुबन्धे द्वितीयाशुचाभृशं विमूर्छितो अनुप्रकृतिर्दिव्यवृतः कपातबालस्य स पादमूले मृतस्य विस्त्रस्तशिरोरुवाम्बरः दीर्घश्वसन् बाष्पकलोपरोधतो निरुद्धकण्ठो न सशाक भाषितुम्. When King Citraketu heard of his son's death from unknown causes, he became almost blind. Because of his great affection for his son, his lamentation grew like a blazing fire. And as he went to see the dead child, he kept sleeping and falling on the ground, surrounded by his ministers and other officers, and the learned Brahmins present. The king approached and fell unconscious at the child's feet, his hair and dress scattered. When the king, breathing heavily, regained consciousness, his eyes were tearful and he could not speak. So if you remember, Angira Muni had told him, right, like that he'll be happy and at the same time will be unhappy afterwards, right? So that's what is going on right now. Nisha?
पतिं निरीक्षोरु शुचार्पितं तदा मृतं च बालं सुतमेकसन्ततिं जनस्य राज्ञी प्रकृतेश्च अद्रुजं सती दधाना विललापचित्रधा. When the queen saw her husband King Citraketu merged in great lamentation and saw the dead child, who was the only son in the family, she lamented in various ways. This increased the pain in the cores of the hearts of all the inhabitants of the palace, the ministers, and all the Brahmins. Hare Krishna.
Tarun?
Tanadvayanam kunkuma panka manditam nisinchat sanjana paspa bindu bibitihi vikriya kesan vigalat srajaha sutam susocha chitram kurartva suswaram. The garland of flowers decorating the queen's head fell, and her hair scattered. Falling tears melted the collyrium on her eyes and moistened her breasts, which were covered with kunkuma powder. As she lamented the loss of her son, her loud crying resembled the sweet sound of a kurkuri bird. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, अहो विधात स्वमतीव बालिशो यस्य त्वामसृष्ट य प्रतिरूप मीहसे परे नु जीवत्य परस्य या मृति विपर्य यश्वेतमति ध्रुव पर. Elias, O Providence, O Creator, you certainly inexperienced in creation, for during the lifetime of a father, you have caused the death of his son, thus acting in opposition to your creative laws. If you are determined to contradict these laws, you are certainly the enemy of living entities and are never merciful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So King Citraketu and they are lamenting like that. Sachin?
नहि क्रमश्चेदिह मृत्युजन्मनो शरीराणमस्तु तदात्मकर्मभिः यः स्नेहपाशो निजसर्ग वृद्धये स्वयं कृतस्ते तमिमं विवृश्यसि. My Lord, you may say that there is no law that a father must die. There is no law that a father must die in the lifetime of his son, and that a son must be born in the lifetime of his father, since everyone lives and dies according to his own fruitive activity. However, if fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God, Again, if you say that a controller is needed because the material energy does not have the power to act, one may answer that if the bonds of affection you have created are disturbed by fruitive action, no one will raise children with affection. Instead, everyone will cruelly neglect his children. Since you have cut the bonds of affection that compel a parent to raise his child, you appear inexperienced and unintelligent. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Citraketu, King Citraketu, right? He is lamenting because he lost his son. He's lamenting to God, right? That you are inexperienced, you are unintelligent, because he's saying if everything just depends on the fruitive activity is the karma, then what is the need of the go, right? There's no need of a controller, he's saying, right? And even if a controller is needed because the material energy does not have the power, right? Still, what has been done, right? The impact will be no one will raise children with affection and all that. So King Citraketu is very, very upset, right? And he's lamenting with those words this time. Hare Krishna, Prem.
Hare Krishna, Govind.
Hare Krishna, padhoge?
I need to read, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Tvam tat naharsi cha ma kripna manatha tva kintu vichasva pitram tav sukatvam aj starim bhavta praj dustaram yad dhvanta na yan karunem yeman duram. My dear son, I am helpless and very much aggrieved. You should not give up my company. Just look at your lamenting father. We are helpless because without a son, we shall have to suffer the distress of going to the darkest hellish regions. You are the only hope by which we can get out of these dark regions. Therefore, I request you not to go any further with the merciless Yama. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So Citraketu is continuously weeping like that. Hare Krishna, Rasiksha Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
उसको जरा हाईलाइट करिए प्रभु जी. हाँ. उत्तिष्ठतात इमे शेषवो वयस्याः सत्यामह्यन्ति निर्पनन्दन संहर्तुमा सुप्तश्रियं हुष्णया य भावान् परितोः भुङ्क्षवस्तनं इव शुचो हरन स्वकानां. Translation. My dear son, you have slept a long time. Now please get up. Your playmates are calling you to play. Since you must be very hungry, please get up and suck my breast and dissipate our lamentation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nisha.
नाहं तनूज ददृशे हतमङ्गलाते मुग्धस्मितं मुदितवीक्षण माननाब्जं किं वा गतोऽस्य पुनर्नवयन् मन्यलोकं नीतोऽग्रुणेन न शृणोमि कलागिरस्ते. My dear son, I am certainly most unfortunate, for I can no longer see your mild smiling. You have closed your eyes forever. I therefore conclude that you have been taken from this planet to another, from which you will not return. My dear son, I can no longer hear your pleasing voice. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So Queen Kritadetu, right? His son, her son, right? She's lamenting like that. Tarun.
Shri Shuk Vacha Vilpantya नृत्य पुत्रमिति चित्र विलापने चित्रकेतु भृशं तप्तो मुक्तकंठो रुद्रोह. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued, accompanied by his wife, was thus lamenting for her dead son. King Citraketu began crying loudly with an open mouth, being greatly aggrieved. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
तयो विलपतो सर्वे दंपत्योस्त धनुवृताः रुरुदः स्म नराः नार्य सर्वमासीदचेतनम्. As the king and queen lamented, all their male and female followers joined them in crying. Because of the sudden death, all the citizens of kingdom were almost unconscious. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
एवं कश्मलमापन्नं नष्टसंज्ञमनायकं ज्ञात्वाङ्गिरा नाम ऋषिराजगाम सनारद. When the great sage Angira understood that the king was almost dead in an ocean of lamentation, he went there with Narad Rishi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you remember, right, in the beginning, King Citraketu had everything. Angira Muni reached his palace, and then Angira Muni asked King Citraketu, like, why he's not happy, even though he has everything. King Citraketu asked for a son. Angira Muni performed a yajna for Twasta, and then he got a son, but Angira Muni told him he'll be happy and also upset at the same time, and then he left, right? So then he had a son, and then the son got died because the other queens were not happy because he was giving full attention only to the one queen, right? So now at the end, now what's happening is, now the great says Angira Rishi knew everything, right? And he saw that the king was just lost in the lamentation. He went there with Narad Rishi, right? So Narad Rishi Rajagam se Narad hai, and Angira Muni are now going to Citraketu, King Citraketu, right? And so this ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 6th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Citraketu's Lamentation. Hello, Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
yeah. Yeah, and the next chapter is about the sense Narad Muni and Angira Muni instructs King Citraketu. Yeah. So let's just read a couple of more shloks and then we'll stop. Prem. You are on mute, Prem.
Oh, Sri Shukavacha. Uchtur mritkopante patitam mritkopamam shoka bhibhutam rajan bodhyanto sadukti bhim. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, while King Citraketu, overcome by lamentation, lay like a dead body at the side of the dead body of his son, the two great sages Narada and Angira instructed him about spiritual consciousness as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prashiksham Prabhuji?
को अयम श्यत्व राजेंद्र भवान यमुनो शोचति त्वं च अस्य कतमः सृष्टौ पुरेदानि मतः परम्. O king, what relationship does the dead body of for which you lament have with you, and what relationship do you have with him? You may say that you are now related as father and son, but do you think this relationship exists before? Does it truly exist now? Will it continue in the future? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the Narad Muni and Angira Muni are consoling King Citraketu by those words. So just read one more shloka and we'll stop. Panisha.
यथा प्रयान्ति संयात सयान्ति स्रोतो वेगेन बालुकाः संयुजन्ते वियुजन्ते तथा कालेन देहिनः. O king, as small particles of sand sometimes come together and are sometimes separated due to the force of the waves, the living entities who have accepted material bodies sometimes come together and are sometimes separated by the force of time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Angira Muni is consoling Citraketu Maharaj, saying, Sanyujante vyujante tatha kalena dehine. Sometimes the living entities who have accepted material bodies, they come together. Sometimes they get separated by the force of time. Kalena dehine. So we are going to pause here. I will continue to read this. So this is about how Vritrashur went back to Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, right? That's the story which Sukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj. And so he's going back in time and he's telling about King Citraketu, right? So that's what we are reading right now. We're reading about King Citraketu, who will be, then somehow we'll see how the Vritrashur appeared, right? So we'll pause here. Sorry, I think we are again over time today, but and this was a nice Kartik month. We had very auspicious Kartik month. And, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We have read so many adhyayas, also the transcendental messages during Vritrashur and even Indradev's fight and even Lord Vishnu's appearance and so many things, right? So very nice, auspicious month. I think it's almost over now, Kartik month. Another month has started. But we will hear Damodar Ashtakam one more time today, yeah? It's from Padma Purana. And so let's do that. And then we'll pause. So it's 8 to 9 minutes. So we are a little bit over time, yeah?
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हे बोलो श्री राधे दामोदर भगवान की जय.
जय.
So auspicious Kartik month. The next month is starting now. And we'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. Yeah?
Yep.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.